Okay, good morning and welcome to our inner circle this morning. We are broadcasting live here from Pretoria, South Africa, for those who are logging in for the first time this morning. We trust you're going to enjoy this one. What we do is we actually do this on a weekly basis. And this is actually a podcast for you to follow also, and of course, to share with your friends and colleagues at work, and it also is actually meant for you to just get some updates on the inner workings and functionality of KEY360 itself, our project management and business management platform that we've developed on our side here, and just to keep you updated with the latest news. So that said, we're going to jump right in this morning. Of course, our hot topic for today, there you go. We are still on the whole series of KEY360 Essentials. And as you can see, we're talking about bad habits die hard. And this is the last little part of that, I want to say, sub-series of bad habits die hard. Of course, there's a lot that we've said up to now. You are welcome to go and, of course, join our channel, of course, on YouTube. Like and subscribe that. We'll get to that just now. But also for you to follow up on the previous sessions that we had, where we discussed more about bad habits, especially within project management teams, and with regard to the management systems that they are using currently, or maybe are to use in future for managing their projects. That said, of course, yes, as I mentioned earlier, please like, please subscribe, hit that notification button. And of course, share this as well with your friends and colleagues, which brings me to the fact that we have no rules, though we tend to get this question all the time. What are the rules here? There's no real rules here. There's one or two little things I just want to mention. Of course, yes, you are most welcome to message us in the chat box as well on the side, or of course, raise a hand and ask a question or add some comments if you want to add that live to our discussion this morning, because we'd like this to be a little bit more of an interactive thing. And then, of course, like I mentioned, please share this. Not just subscribe, but also please share this with as many people as possible within the industry, so that we can get this channel out there and get more known for what we are doing and all the efforts we're putting in with KEY360, and also for you to become that rock star, someone who really just maybe discovered us and can really now see the benefits of using KEY360 in everyday life for your business management, or also especially, of course, for your project management itself. On our end here, we've got on my side, Gerard Olofse, the training executive here at SSG Consulting, the developers of KEY360. That will be your host for this morning. Then, of course, we have a moderator as well, Corlia de Prier, the Executive Chief of Staff here on our side. Thank you, Corlia. She'll be listening in also, and also checking up if you do raise a hand or add something in the chat box. At the end of the actual discussion and demonstration, basically here, I'm going to jump back to her and just ask if there was anything that came out throughout our session here this morning. And then, of course, also on the technical side, thank you very much, Martinez, our IT manager, who's also looking after us on all the technical aspects for this morning. That said, I want to jump right in, not waste a lot of time this morning again. We really want to make this a short and sweet type of the session as well. And you'll see here, I'm just going to quickly recap. As you can see, we've already spoken in previous sessions here about prioritizing what's important. Of course, staying uncluttered, very, very important there as well. The lack of consistent updates. There's a whole lot of bad habits that's been discussed already, and how systems or platforms like KEY360 specifically can assist in making your life much easier, having you jumping out of those bad habits. Of course, the others as well, using emails and spreadsheets instead. instead of actually having a proper management system that's got a little bit more, I want to say, meat built into it. And we're going to look at that specifically this morning as well. And then, of course, ignoring data reports. All these are just some of the main listed bad habits that we've found already that's been reported to us on project management and also even business management these days. Of course, this morning we are looking at no proper data integrity and no proper data backups. And that said, of course, it means that usually we are talking now about people who are working in teams that are not relying on, most of the cases, a cloud-based system where everything is backed up either automatically or manually, or maybe, well, like with us, a mix of both. And that is what I'd like to show you also this morning. Just again, bad habits. What are bad habits? Of course, the definition itself, negative behavior patterns, as you can see here. We're talking about negative behavior patterns within project management and business management alike. So please keep that in mind as I'm going through the system itself this morning. So yes, how do we deal with this? How do we make sure that we actually have proper data integrity? How do we make sure that we are running proper data backups and that everything is actually available still for years to come, and long before, long after actually the conclusion of our projects, or even after closure of our business? How can we be sure that our files are safe, it's still accessible, and also in the same format as we have had it when it was still live back in the day? So, of course, that said, I want to jump right in and start talking about data integrity this morning. I'm going to just pull in a KEY360 window here. As you can see, I've already logged into a training project, as you can see at the bottom left of your screen itself. And I'm going to turn a little bit here towards my other screen just to take you through. So as you can see here at the top, this is what we call our recordings register. Now, of course, the recordings register itself contains a list of tasks or discussion points for different minutes of meetings or whatever you'd like. Maybe just some notes for the record or whatever it may be that you would decide to actually upload to the recordings record register itself. So, of course, these are actually also referred to as different records within KEY360 for you to manage either separately or as part of minutes of a meeting. Now, with these line items here, I want to actually make use of them as examples to actually explain to you that, first of all, when we talk about data integrity, the first thing that we would like to discuss, of course, is change management. Now, all line items in all of the registers in KEY360, they look basically like this. Everything is built to look alike. And as you can see, it's really giving you some of the Office tools vibes here. And of course, that is also intentional, so that it just makes it look and feel a bit easier to work within. However, it's got actually much more capabilities inside what we call here the grid. Instead of a spreadsheet, there's much more behind this grid than meets the eye. For now, just talking about the line items themselves, of course, yes, when we talk about change management, we're saying that in line items, for each and every line item inside a register here inside KEY360, there's a couple of very important parts and bits and pieces of information that is always shared or available to you as a user inside KEY360. Now, talking about data integrity, one of the things that we'd like to know about line items, different pieces of information that are uploaded, like in this case, recordings. You can see who was the originator. So you can actually see who was the user that uploaded that line item in the first place into KEY360. Then also immediately available to me is, of course, a date stamp as well, telling me when this was uploaded to the specific register here. Now, inside our field chooser, when I open this up, of course, there's a whole lot of other additional options for me to also find more information about this line item itself. So, of course, we're talking about status management as well. We're going to get into status management just now, and that's when we talk about workflows. And you might remember from previous sessions where we discussed workflows specifically that everything inside KEY360 is in fact status driven. And that's how we actually workflow things inside here. But just looking at line items immediately from my field chooser here, I actually could go and look at the date created, as you can see over there. And of course, also the originator, as you can see at the bottom there of your screen. So these I've switched on and added them as columns inside of my register so that I can actually see what's happening with things uploaded to the register that I'm working within. So yes, this means, of course, that the register is actually live. So all the information that's uploaded here is really live and still accessible right here for me now to update directly to the cloud itself. Now, if I double click anywhere inside of a line item, it actually opens up the form to this line item with different sections on the form. And of course, right on top here, almost right at the very top, you can see the status visualizer showing you all the statuses, basically the life cycle or the workflow then, of course, for this specific line item here. All the details for this line item also available on the form itself. As we scroll down, you'll find the status history section of the form. And this is really where we build the history, where you can actually see the time date stamps added by the system itself. For those who are more familiar with the system, of course, on top here, you'll see all the headings written in black, compared to other grids where some of the headings are actually written in red, which means that it is editable for me with my specific user rights that's connected to my role inside this project here. So everything, of course, being customizable inside of KEY360 means that I can actually update all of this right here, right now, but a time date stamp will be added for every update that I do. So yes, of course, if I update the status, it means it's going to ask me for a next responsible person, which I can either then decide to keep with myself or add someone else. And then when I hit the save and close button, it simply emails that next responsible person all about this information inside here as well. So yes, that happens, but then also on the form itself, we've got a little history button. So if I do click on the history button itself, it takes a couple of seconds here, and then KEY360 will of course collect all the information about all the fields that were filled out here for this form itself. I can expand all this and look at the dates and times and see who was the originator for all these fields, and expand some more information, and even export this, of course, to Excel for further scrutinization if I need to. But for anything that happens inside of KEY360, there's always this little history button here at the top of the form for each line item itself as well. So that really just shows that we are very serious when we talk about data integrity inside of KEY360 itself. Something else I'd like to mention also that really touches on this subject is, of course, deletion of items. So inside of registers, any register, but such as this one specifically, you can see there are already statuses allocated for these line items themselves, which means they are already seen as live. They have started their life cycle. So therefore, I cannot delete these line items inside KEY360 itself. So that's the first provision for myself. If I do add a new line item to my register, you can see I just clicked on the Add New button at the top right there, and there's my new form that opened up. If I've got all this information in here and I save and close this form, of course, I'm just going to close the form for now, then I would be left here with a line item. And of course, in the other registers, apart from the recordings register, it would not have a specific status yet. Without that status in there, of course, then I can select that line item and simply delete it from the top here. So the first provision, of course, being the statuses that needs to be absent if I want to still delete a line item. Once a status has been allocated, of course, it means that I need to allocate another status if I'm to cancel it or make it void or whatever it is that you might decide to take that to. So then, of course, you just need to use your filters to not display that within any of your reports going forward. So you just filter out all the voids or all the cancels or whatever the statuses are that you do not want to display or do not want to calculate for your reports. The other provision, the second and the last provision here is, of course, also if something has an attachment to it. So or even a child. We talk about a parent and a child register inside KEY360, typically like with document control as well, or with recordings and events. The events register itself, as you'll find here within communication, the events and recordings module here, events being looking at specifically meetings that might take place or the specific workshops or discussions that takes place with your team or within your business. And of course, the recordings, as we see here, this current register that's opened up here actually contains all of the discussion points or all of the tasks that were listed for that specific event. So yes, this would be the parent and this would be the child register inside KEY360. So of course, it means also if I had other attachments here, other child register items maybe attached to my current register items, then of course, or linked to them, then of course I need to break that link first. Or if I do have attachments inside, I'm just going to open up this line item again and just show you. There you go, there's the form. If I scroll down over this form, of course, I can add some attachments here in this section on the form itself. So this could be from outside of KEY360, does not always have to be inside KEY360 itself. Documents here, on the other hand, I can attach from within KEY360. So it really gives me options, as you can see. But what I want to get to is really if something is linked or attached here to this line item itself, I need to actually delete it from this section here first, hence all the delete buttons that's also available for some of these sections. So of course, yes, with these now links broken or taken from this line item. Once that's been done, then of course the line item, I can close the form here. And of course, if there's also no status, I can just select it here and delete it from the top. So that's for deletion of line items themselves. I can do that in bulk. I can do that for a single line item as well at a time. It depends on the register and what my actions are, my role, and also my rights within the current system or the current platform environment that's allocated to me. So everything here really points towards data integrity, making sure that my data is kept safe, making sure that there's records for everything that happens inside KEY360, making sure that everything that we do, it is still available for the other users as well. Of course, depending on their roles and their rights allocated in the system as well. So much for data integrity. Next, I'd like to talk about data backups. Now, we've had a couple of clients asking about data backups recently. So it's actually very interesting that all this came up now. And I think it's also from people attending all these sessions of ours and seeing what's coming ahead for the following week always. So yes, with data backups, of course, everything happens into the cloud. KEY360 is cloud-based, which of course means that your data is live, always available, updated to the latest, and kept safe at the same time. And there's, of course, redundancy on the servers as well. And all those technical details we can get into at a later stage. For now, backups, what I do want to mention, and I'm going to quickly jump out, just log out of the specific training project that we are in. So when I get back to the landing page here for logging into a new environment inside KEY360, as you can see, this is a training environment here, also ready for us for use for demos. Of course, right here, you can access backups. So from the little button on top here, I can open up this window and you can see here already the latest 8 backups that's already available from the list here. Again, you can see them being highlighted as I scroll over them, which means that they are live and available to me now. You can see time, date, stamps here. So I know exactly what data backups were made, or more or less when those were made, specifically to the data that I was working on. And of course, I can now go and decide I'd like to activate or work from this specific backup here by just double clicking on it, and then of course applying that backup. So very easy. These backups are actually made automatically, and it looks at your local grid layouts. You might remember again from our previous sessions, the grid layouts are our view of the information inside of our registers, which we save. So we're not changing the data inside the registers, but it's just our view of the data inside the register. So we are moving columns up and down, or left to the right, dropping some columns, adding some of them, adding some formulas, specific sorting, specific filtering, combinations of all of this, even conditional formatting and grouping or pivoting, as you might know better. All of that can be done inside of my layouts without changing up the data itself. It's just my view of it. And then, of course, that can be saved as a layout, a local layout under my own account inside KEY360. And all these layouts for all these registers are also made automatically 10 minutes after my login to a new environment, and that happens every 60 days. So that's the minimum for backups inside KEY360. Of course, you can override this by just immediately doing a manual backup. So just by clicking on this next button here that I'm highlighting now, I can create a current new backup here. Also, looking at backups, I do want to mention it's always keeping track of the latest 8 backups. So it will drop or lose or discard the oldest one of the 8, to, of course, just add to the top of the list the latest backup that I've made or that it's made on my behalf. But you can be sure of at least 8 backups automatically being done every 60 days on all of your local grid layouts throughout the entire project or entire environment, in fact, that you're working on inside KEY360. So that in itself is actually phenomenal. Then also, of course, for the KEY360 developers themselves, they have mentioned that it is important for you to know, and for me to mention, of course, that if you have any backups that needs to be made that will run with data sizes of 30 megabytes or more, then of course they will be notified, they being the developers, and they will then also contact you as the user to actually ask you to do manual backups at that point. The reason is, of course, of the fact that the data is really becoming larger than the norm. So this is all just us contacting you, making sure that the communication is flowing good and that the backups are being made, and really just on a personal basis also checking in with you. So again, something that is available within KEY360 along with the services from outside coming in, really something that I can commend, and also again just show you why I am really so impressed and into KEY360 itself. So that's how we deal with data backups. That's how we deal with data integrity. There's a lot that can be said, really. So if you do have an additional comment, please raise your hand, or please put something in the comments box here for Corlia to pick up. And in fact, at this point, let's quickly jump in. Corlia, are there any questions or any comments at this point of the discussion?
Morning, Gerard. No, none yet. All good. Thank
All
you.
right, thank you. Thank you. Okay, so if there's nothing from your side, thank you very much for your time. I'm not going to keep you much longer here. Just a quick reminder of a couple of things. First of all, of course, our main flagship courses lately that we are running here at the SSG Consulting Training Academy. would, of course, be the document control for EPC and EPCM projects, and then, of course, also the planning and scheduling for EPC and EPCM projects. Both these courses are run virtually on virtual classrooms and also on actual classrooms. You're welcome to contact us on ssgconsulting.co.za. Or simply make use of the QR code here. You can scan that with your mobile device and also connect with us in that way to ask us more about our courses. And then we can, of course, get you hooked up with the right people for that. Next time, we are looking forward to discussing failure to prioritize. Something also that's a little bit, it might sound negative, but it's something that we would like to actually cover as well. So from our side, on the KEY360 side, on the SSG consulting side, thank you for your time. We trust this was helpful to you and insightful on new things that is available with KEY360 and with SSG consulting. Enjoy your week and also the upcoming weekend. And as we're heading into Easter, enjoy Easter as well. From our side, have a nice one. Thank you.